What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Talking Jets with Tigo. And today I wanted to do a live show recapping my thoughts on, the green and white game, the Dwayne Brown visit, a couple of the previous news stories that I didn't get to touch on before. But also, I wanted to be live when I hit 1,000 subscribers. Right now, we are at 998 subscribers. We are 2 subscribers away from 1,000. So I'm really, really excited. Anybody gets in here in that time and all of that stuff, I want to be doing a giveaway. I have an Elijah Moore rookie card. Let me go get that. That I'm going to be giving away. Right here it is. I have an Elijah Moore rookie card. Very nice, very shiny, that I will be giving away to one lucky subscriber who is in here. When we hit 1,000, it's exciting. I'm excited. It's really cool to be able to hit this milestone, especially with how quickly I hit it. You never expect that you're going to hit these milestones this quickly. And it's cool to know that this Jets family, this Jets community not only supports my content, but believes in me enough to give me your support through subscriptions and likes and all that stuff. So yeah, let's hop right into the video. So first things first, I want to talk about Dwayne Brown and why I think it's really, really important that the Jets bring in Dwayne Brown. Specifically, one of the things that I saw from hey, what's going on, John? Welcome in, good sir. Just hanging out, trying to celebrate 1,000 subscribers. We are 2 subscribers away from 1,000. So I just wanted to be live when it happened. I'm really, really excited. We'll be giving away to one of my subscribers the Elijah Moore rookie card. I think this guy's going to be an all-star, and I think this might be worth something in a couple of years. So I'm very, 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 very excited. Panini Elijah Moore rookie card. But I was talking about Dwayne Brown and why I think more than ever, signing Dwayne Brown has become a massive, massive priority for this team. I think it's one of those things that this team can't not do is sign him. We saw from our practices, but not just our practices, even the green and white scrimmage in particular, that our tackle depth beyond Mekhi Becton and George Fant is not good. And honestly, I don't believe in any of these guys like McDermott or Adoga on the team. What is going up, Jets? Hey, since you're in here, we're actually trying to be live for whenever I hit 1,000 subscribers. It should happen soon. I'm at 998. And in honor of the picture that you have as your profile picture, I will also be giving away to one of my subscribers a rookie Elijah Moore card. Very, very excited. I think this guy is going to be an all-pro, Pro Bowler for many, many, many years to come. So that might be worth something. I'm thinking Dwayne Brown, pay him and have him mentor Becton and Fant how to last a full 17-game season. I get what you're saying and where you're coming from with that, but I think lasting a full 17-game season has more to do with luck than it does with stuff that the players really have control over. Now, I'm not saying that a player doesn't have control over their situation, their health, and those things, but I think it's more luck than anything. We've seen over the years, like Tom Brady getting hit hard, right? Like crunching tackles and sacks. And we all love that as fans, but he's rarely ever been hurt. But we also saw Patrick Mahomes on one of the statistically safest plays in the playbook for a quarterback, which is the QB sneak. And he got hurt. So it's one of those things where, like, I think injuries have more to do with luck than anything else, really. And so I think the real thing that you bring Dwayne Brown is insurance for Fant. Honestly, because I believe Becton is going to be okay. He didn't really have an injury history or anything like that. And when he played excellently. But when you look at Fant and the knee injury, same with Becton, right? He can be insurance for both of them. It's hard to imagine that we're going to get 17 games from both of those guys, Becton and Fant, because they're big boys coming off knee injuries. And I'm not 100%. I know I'm one of the few here, but I'm not sold on George Fant as a left tackle of the future or anything like that. I hope I'm wrong. I really do hope I'm wrong here, but I understand that his career trajectory and his career path was a little bit unorthodox, I guess is the best way to say it. But for a guy to finally have a good season at left tackle 7 years into his career is a little bit of a concern in my eyes. I'd much rather have the young guys, and Dwayne Brown, even though he's 37, that's a really old for a tackle. And Fant is only 30. I still like the fact that Brown played all of the snaps in Seattle last year, and he did them at a moderately high level. John, with that's true, but Brow's been around, and I'm sure he knows a few things. No, absolutely. Brown has been around, and he's a previous Pro Bowler, and there's always things that you can do with your health, right? Like there's always ways that you can take care of your bodies to do things well. It's just one of those, like, again, I think it's like if Mekhi Becton doesn't get rolled up on, does he go down for the season at all? I don't know. I don't think so. And tackles do age well because, like, contrary to belief, you can keep, like, it's not about like speed with them. It's more about like strength and quickness, I guess is the best way to say it. And there are a lot of health and like exercise and weightlifting things that they can do to obviously maintain strength, health, and quickness. So it's very interesting to look at it. Again, my concern doesn't come from a fact of anything other, like with Mekhi Becton. It just comes from a place of, I don't know what to expect from a guy. As of right, he's been a career backup, like, and he's a one-hit wonder. That's really it. And he didn't look good at right tackle. And then you move him to left and it works. But like, again, I don't know. We'll see. Again, I hope I'm wrong because I really do want this offensive line to be elite. And I think that we have the pieces here. If everything pans out the way that people think it is, I think we can very easily have a top 10 offensive line unit. And I think that's really, really important for the Jets. And adding Dwayne Brown as insurance, it just seems like our Morgan Moses move, right? Morgan Moses was a big, big part of that offense last year. And he's a big, big reason that that offensive line towards the later end of the year, once we added LDT, really got better. Because once we had solid players at all 5 positions and we didn't have this gaping hole at right guard, you really saw this team progress well and all of that stuff. So not going to sit here and say that that's a bad thing. But I think Dwayne Brown has to be a signing. I think there's no options there. My thing with this is I don't necessarily dislike Connor McGovern at all in like the lineup or anything like that. I think Connor McGovern is a more than adequate center. Now, I think a lot of Jets fans aren't the biggest fan of McGovern because for the longest time we had really, really crappy guards on either side of him and he got blamed for a lot of things. And then also there's the fact that like McGovern, I think as fans, a lot of us didn't like that McGovern kind of clapped back at Zach a few times. And I get that. I'm on board with that. But one of the things that I will say that I think that Jets fans need to temper a little bit when it comes to talking about the center position is not every team. Cause like we went from back-to-back generational all-time great centers, right? And like Mangold was like my second favorite player on those Jets teams when I was growing up. Like I was a Chad Pennington fan first, And then like Nick Mangold was like my next favorite player because he was just so good at what he did. And so that question, that concern at center that a lot of people have, I don't think we need to address center like so desperately that we need to like go draft one in like the second round or anything like that. I know that it's way too soon, obviously, for us to be talking about like next year's draft, but ultimately in next year's draft, I want the first 3 picks like in order to probably end up being defensive tackle, linebacker. That's probably it. I want like defensive tackle and then get me 2 linebackers. I'm cool with the safeties. I believe in Jason Pinnock. Maybe you draft a safety in the 3rd to be that like Ashton Davis replacement. Like in the sense of like, I don't think Joyner's on this team past this year. Pinnock takes that starting role. Somebody needs to fill in that backup role next to Ashton Davis because I think Ashton Davis is going to be a backup safety for this team for quite some time. And so then you draft a safety in the 3rd round. So for me, that's what I would love to do. Is I would love to see a defensive tackle or a inside linebacker in the 1st and the 2nd round. I don't care which one you go or how you go about it, but that's what I would love to see. And then maybe a safety in the 3rd. And that's really it for me. Like if you want to take a developmental center or something like that, I'm down with that. You can't, and yeah, those lines were incredible. Like we won games because of that line. Mark Sanchez looked like an NFL quarterback because of that offensive line and because of that run game, right? Like we didn't want him throwing the ball. So those lines were awesome. Do you keep Mims and let Davis go? I don't know if Mims is on this team this year, like by week 1. And let me say that as someone who is a fan of Denzel Mims, right? Like I like Denzel Mims. The concern I have here comes from the idea of like what Denzel Mims very clearly thinks that he can be a starting caliber wide receiver. And I agree with that statement. But my thing goes, as much as I love Mimsy, I don't think he's as good as Elijah Moore. I think Elijah Moore is a clear-cut wide receiver 1. I need an Elijah Moore is good shirt. I think Elijah Moore is a clear-cut number 1 wide receiver. I think Garrett Wilson being drafted at number 10 is going to force him to get reps and everything like that. Corey Davis cannot be let go. His contract is so team-friendly. It's such a good contract for this team. Like that you really, really, really can't even begin to imagine him not being on this team beyond next year, beyond like this coming year. His contract he's a $13 million. It's a $13 million contract. And so we look at it and you go and you talk about it and you say, if he were to hit the market, let's say we don't take his 3rd-year option and he goes and hits the market, he's going to go get paid $16, $17, $18 million a year because that's what a high-end number 2 wide receiver gets paid nowadays. They get paid $16, $17, $18 million because of that wide receiver room. So I don't see how you can let him go at all. And then you take into consideration that like he is a big body, 50-50 catch, deep threat. And I would like to see him a lot more in the slot and playing him as a big slot. I just don't see how you let him go. Braxton Berrios, I think, has solidified himself as wide receiver 4 because of what he was able to do last year as a punt returner and as a backup wide receiver. It's one of those things where if it happens, I don't see how, like, if the Bears gave you a call, a team that has no wide receiver depth at all, and they offer you a 3rd-round pick for Denzel Mims, I don't see how Joe Douglas says no. Let's say week 1 happens and we beat the Ravens. Okay, week 1 happens and we do beat the Ravens because I think we're going to beat the Ravens. And the Ravens can't get the run game going. It looks like their running backs aren't going to be there back as quickly as possible. They're going to have to rely on Lamar Jackson's arm, and the only wide receiver that they have on that team right now that I think is worth a damn is Pittman. Is it Pittman? No, Pittman's in Indianapolis. Is Bateman. So if the Ravens give you a call and say, hey, here's a 3rd-round pick for Denzel Mims, how do you say no to that? Because he's a guy who right now is your wide receiver 5 or wide receiver 6 on this team. As much as people don't want to believe it, Jeff Smith really has improved his game. And he is a solid backup wide receiver option. And so because Jeff Smith brings and provides a lot of depth and options, especially on special teams, and he's not going into playing special teams as like essentially as a rookie, which is what Denzel Mims would be doing. There's a lot of value in a player like Jeff Smith on your team. So right now, Denzel Mims is wide receiver 6. If someone's offering you a 3rd-round pick for your wide receiver 6, you take that, especially when you got guys on your depth chart like in Irvin Charles, who's a guy that you can really, really develop and has a very, very similar skill set to what Denzel Mims does. Obviously not at that high of a level. Denzel Mims provides you a skill set at a much, much higher level. But Irvin Charles is 6'4", 220, runs a really, really quick 40 time. He's undrafted. Like, he's a guy that you can develop to be your wide receiver 6, which is what Mims is right now. And so you can do that. And then you take Corey Davis's 3rd-year option. You get 1 more year of Corey Davis. And then not this year's draft, but the draft after that, you draft a wide receiver in the 2nd round to be a Corey Davis replacement. And by that point in time, hopefully you're right. And I'm going to skip a couple of your comments, John, to go here to this. Berrios is this generation's Wayne Corbett. Berrios would have solidified his role a lot better. He would have solidified himself as wide receiver 3. And now in the 2nd round, you're drafting a guy to be wide receiver 4. And you work it that way. So in my eyes, I don't see how Mims stays on this team long-term, especially with the skill set that he has. You're looking at 2 years before he can break into that top 3. And that seems like a lot of time to invest in a 2nd-round pick where you're really only going to see him get a good number of snaps in his last year of his deal. And I don't see how him and his agent would like that. And I don't see how the team would find that a good resource management. So there's that. And John, you should be afraid because it will happen. If we trade him somewhere, he's going to ball out. Like, that's just going to happen. And it sucks that that's what's going to happen. But that's going to happen. He's going to ball out, and people are going to be really pissed that we traded him. But right now, he doesn't crack the roster. And that's the unfortunate thing. Okay, let me ask this question about height. Is Garrett Wilson at 6 foot not considered in your eyes like a tall receiver? Would you still consider that as like not being a part of the height? You want 6'2", 6'3", 6'4" guys in that wide receiver room? Is that what you mean by height? Because right now the only person that we have that's doing that is Corey Davis at 6'3". Because if we look at the split in our room right now, it goes Elijah Moore and Braxton Berrios, who are guys that are under 6 foot, right? Elijah Moore is 5'10". Braxton Berrios is 5'9". Then Corey Davis is 6'3". Garrett Wilson is 6 foot. Jeff Smith, who's wide receiver 5 right now, is 6'1". And then Denzel Mims is 6'3". If anything, we're leaning a little bit heavy on the height department, right? Like, and we've got our backups. Tariq Black is 6'3". We've got guys that are big on the depth. Maybe not good guys, but so you're just looking at Davis and Mims as the big body. So you're not counting Garrett Wilson in that. And I understand that because I'm in that same boat. But I think what we're seeing in this generation of wide receivers is height is becoming less of an importance, and athleticism up the middle is becoming more of an importance. And Garrett Wilson is one of those guys that I think that he's not going to be that tall, and He's not going to be that like great go catch it, toss it up kind of guy like what I think Drake London might be in this generation. But I definitely think that where Zach likes to shine, which is throwing the ball up the middle, you add a weapon like Garrett Wilson and Elijah Moore now on the outside and Corey Davis work in the middle of the field. Again, I think we've got a really good combo and stuff like that. Yeah, but like corners aren't that tall anymore either, right? Like the quarterback size isn't like they're 6-foot guys. Like, and then all the really tall, lanky guys are really skinny. So if you're strong and you need to block something on the outside, like if Garrett Wilson can go put that thing going on, you know what I mean? You do that. And the other thing is like tight ends exist, fullbacks exist. You could always run out a 2 tight end set, send a tight end out wide. And then we saw it last year a couple of times where we put Nick Bawden out wide. We would come out in a pistol set with Bawden in the backfield as like the second running back. And then we would send him out wide and then run that way because he would just block as a fullback who was motioned out wide kind of a thing. So you could always do that as an option. So I know the wideout contracts are through the roof, but what if he keeps dropping the ball? Man, drops are a concentration thing, and you can fix that. Absolutely can. Look at Deontay Johnson. So I don't look at it as that big of a deal. And we haven't seen a game yet, right? So I'm going to trust what Coach Saleh said because Coach Saleh knows way more about football than I do. And so for me, I'm going to believe in what Coach Saleh says. I'm going to believe that it's a depth perception issue, and I'm just going to go with it. I'm thinking of red zone blocks. I've read that. If you can go, first of all, hello, Kyle. If you can go high point the football and can create separation, height doesn't really matter. Well-timed jumps do wonders. Exactly. And there is a picture that I love. I love this picture. It is a Garrett Wilson picture. I'm going to go find it. It is a Garrett Wilson picture where I think it's them versus Clemson. And he is just 6,000 feet in the air. And I got to find it. That's too much wasting time. He is so high in the air that he, like the defender who's not short is at his knees. So like, again, as much as you love big, tall, wide receivers, we're just not in a league where that really matters. It's height doesn't win you football games anymore. Whoop. Got him quick. Whoo, with the lightning. You see that? Did I make it? Yeah, I don't have the picture saved. I thought I had the picture saved. I didn't. But again, you can see that like what Kyle's saying here is absolutely true. Separation is the most important thing. If you can separate from your receivers, from the corner, it's the best thing possible. So yeah, that's kind of my take on that. It's just an interesting thing. It's just an interesting to take into consideration. I don't think height is that big of a deal anymore when it comes to the wide receiver room. I also don't think that you could run a wide receiver core of Braxton Berrios's and Elijah Moore's. But yeah, that's my thing. The Berrios driving play was a catch. Hello, Zachary Burner. And what do you mean by driving play? Do you mean like that diving catch in the green and white game? I'm assuming that's what you mean. The one in the end zone in the corner. I know he caught it, but I didn't think he I don't think he caught it in bounds. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Exactly. So yeah, you're talking about the green and white game. Yeah. No, he caught it. He just didn't catch it in bounds. The ball was just a little bit off to the side. But excuse me. Here's the thing I love about that throw that people aren't talking enough about. People are talking about, oh, it was overthrown, it was overthrown, it was overthrown. I was like, okay, technically speaking, yes, it was overthrown. But my thing is like, can we talk about the placement of where that ball was thrown? We're talking about accuracy issues. And yeah, maybe it was like 2 or 3 inches too far to the right. Jesus, back again? But when you look at that situation and what's going on, the quarterback put the ball only, and I'm pretty sure it was Zach Wilson throwing that ball, put the ball in a position where only Garrett Wilson could go catch it if we're talking about the green and white game. So, but we're talking about Berrios, the Berrios diving play. I don't remember that one. Is that one in the middle of the field where he dove on the ground and caught it? I think we're talking about 2 different plays. What will it take to sign Brown? I think, honestly, we've signed Brown. I think that it's a done deal. Ultimately, I think the way that you get him to sign is that you give him a contract that's laden with incentives. You give him a veteran minimum contract, which is probably what he's going to be getting, but you fill it in. Oh, I see what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. Yes, that was a great catch. Absolutely. Now we're on the same page. I remember the catch on the 10. Yes, got it. Right on the sideline, right on the sideline where he gets it's that diving catch. But again, it's putting the ball where only your wide receiver can get it. Separation, guys. He gets the separation. He gets just enough space that where even as a short guy being covered by maybe a taller, lankier corner, it doesn't matter because you trust that your quarterback's going to put where you get it. Back to what I was saying about Brown. Sorry, before I got distracted. I think the thing with Brown is you have to do an incentive-laden contract where you say, hey, if you make a certain amount of plays, you give up fewer than this number of sacks when you play, things like that. Because like I said before, unfortunately, I don't think we get 17 games out of Becton and Fant. I think they will feel discomfort in their knees because they're big boys, both coming off of pretty big knee injuries. And I think it's going to take a year of rehab before both of those guys are at like 100%. I think we're playing with our 2 tackles at 95, 90%. Now, the reason I'm not concerned about Becton is because Becton at 100% is an all-pro, Pro Bowl tackle. 10% off of that is still a really good tackle. Where my concern with Fant is Fant was just a good tackle. If you take 5 or 10% off of that because of the injury to the knee, what is that? Is he just Fant like what we saw on the right side? So it's one of those things where coming off of that knee injury, we know that Duane Brown is going to play this year. And so I think the way that you get him to sign is incentives in the contract for when he eventually plays. Kyle, having Conklin, aka tight end 1, is going to be huge. We haven't had a good tight end since Dustin Keller. Absolutely. Tyler Conklin was Zach's favorite target in the green and white game. I think, guys, we are 1 subscriber away. I just ticked to 999. We are 1 subscriber away. Tell your friends, tweet it out. Go retweet my tweet. Get people in here to subscribe. I'll be giving away an Elijah Moore rookie card. This is exciting. I'm excited. Oh my gosh, we're so close to 1,000 subscribers. But back to what I was saying. Tyler Conklin and CJ, who's having a really, really quiet camp, but I still think is going to be a really good tight end for this team. But like having that safety blanket, having those guys being able to come in and help out your team in the way that they do is really, really, really important. So, it's one thing that Zach never had when he was with the Jets last year is a safety blanket, because you could never really trust your dump it options to be open because you didn't trust your tight ends to go make those yards. The running backs were easy to cover because you didn't have to cover the tight end, right? You just kind of focus on the running back. Now that you can dump it into the flats with tight ends and you can have them in the plays, Tyler Conklin is going to be a surprising pick. And if you're into fantasy, I was talking about this with Dom C on our fantasy live show every Wednesday at 9 called Fantasy Island, where Tyler Conklin is one of those tight ends that you draft after you've drafted your first tight end. And watch out, because he might be a guy that'll become a tight end 1 the longer the season goes on. Brown is huge. Pretty sure Dwayne Brown is huge. Let me see what he is. Dwayne Brown is 6'4", 320. He's a big boy. Like, I'm not saying that he's not a big boy. I'm just saying he's not coming off of a knee injury is what I was talking about at that point in time. The best thing for Sauce is that he can handle an Elijah Moore type guy wide receiver. Absolutely. That play for me was my favorite play of the whole green and white scrimmage because one, it showed that Elijah Moore, one, iron sharpens iron. Those two going against each other at camp is going like every day at practice is only going to make this team better. But Elijah Moore did create separation on one of the better corners. I believe that he's going to be one of the better corners in the NFL. Right. But also for a guy who's 6'3" with that wingspan to be able to keep up with a kid who's 5'10", and I'm pretty sure runs a 4.3. It's good to know. It's good to know that that's going to happen. Over or under on 700 yards for Conklin? I'm going to take the under just because it's going to be tight end by committee. I don't think we're going to beat the dead horse that is Tyler Conklin. I think we're still going to see a lot of snaps for CJ Uzomah, and we're going to see snaps for Jeremy Ruckert. So I just don't think he's in the playbook as much, and I don't think that we throw the ball as much as we did last year. Last year, a lot of people don't know this, but we ran the ball the fewest of any team last year. And that was ultimately because we couldn't trust our running backs. We had one running back that we could trust, and that was Michael Carter. And because we believe in running back by committee and always having healthy and energized guy, we were throwing the ball a lot. And so I don't think we keep up that pace this year. I think we come back closer down to the median, and I really think that we try to run the ball more. I also think that the reason we're going to run the ball more is because I don't think we're going to be behind in games as much. I don't think it's going to take 10 or whatever weeks for us to get a score in the first quarter, for us to lead a game off of the rip. So it's interesting to look at from that perspective. So I'm going to take the under on it, but I'm not saying that because I don't think that he's going to be productive. I just think that all of our tight ends are going to be productive. I think that he's going to be somewhere in the area of 550 to 650 yards. CJ is going to be in that 450 to 550, and Jeremy Ruckert might have a cool 200-ish yards. And to kind of answer Zach's question down here, I think we might get 8 or 9 touchdowns from tight ends this year. And it depends on what you consider Nick Bawden. Do you consider his touchdowns tight end touchdowns or fullback touchdowns? I'm including his touchdowns into the tight ends touchdown. So I think we see 8 or 9 touchdowns from those guys this year. That 7-on-7 catch for Tyler Conklin was amazing. Yeah, it was. I also liked the red zone touchdown that he did. It was a quick, simple play throw, but it just showed strength and confidence to be in the middle there. He knows that, like in an NFL game, you know you're about to get blown up, but he sits there, he catches the hands, he takes the hit, he doesn't drop it. It's a great place to be. I wonder if Sauce is going to be a lockdown corner and leave him on an island. So I talked about this in one of my videos where I don't think that there's such thing as a shutdown corner or a lockdown corner anymore. The rules don't let it at all. Like, you can't be a shutdown corner. Some of the best corners in the league aren't shutdown corners. But what I will say Sauce will be is he'll be a shutdown player. He is so good at every aspect of being a corner that you can really, really look at him and say, you know what? This guy is going to be the guy that we're just going to avoid all game. And so if it was me and if I was coaching this team, the way that I would do it is I would have Sauce Gardner kind of guarding whoever wide receiver 2 on the team is by themselves. And I would put LaMarcus Joyner and DJ Reed on whoever the number 1 wide receiver is. If you can double team their number 1 wide receiver with a corner who's good, like he's a good corner, right, in his own right, and a guy who's pretty good in coverage in Joyner. And Joyner, for being a small guy, for being 5'8", does like to throw his body weight around. A lot. So if you have two short guys, one's 5'8", one 5'9", covering wide receiver ones, they're not going to outspeed him. I don't think that there's going to be a duo or a wide receiver that can outspeed that duo, and it's going to be really hard for them to make catches and plays. And then you just put Sauce on whoever wide receiver 2 is, and then you shut them down because you're double. Like a great example of this would be for the Bengals game. What you do, in my opinion, is you double team Jamar Chase, because of course you double team Jamar Chase, and then because T Higgins is a wide receiver 1 in his own right, you put Sauce on him 1-on-1, and now you've shut down, in my opinion, both of their guys, and now you're forcing Tyler Boyd, Hayden Hurst, and Joe Mixon to win the game. Like those are the guys that you need to win the game, because you can really, in my opinion, if you play that way, you can shut down a wide receiver 1 and a wide receiver 2, because I think personally our cornerbacks are that strong. And if any of them needs a break, you always have Brandon Echols, who I think is a really, really good corner. And then Bryce Hall as well, who's a really good corner. So guys, we're still one away from 1,000. I am very, very excited about that. Answered that. Fast starts are imperative. Also cut down on the 3 and outs. Again, we have too many weapons to be getting 3 and outs now. Breece Hall is going to be it happened, boys. It happened. We've just hit 1,000 subscribers. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Everybody who's been a part of this journey on this channel. Everybody who's hung out, subscribed, hit the like button, and done everything like that. To think that I have been able to grow this channel thanks to you guys in the amount of time that we were able to grow it. I started this channel I started this channel in March. And to think that I was able to go in just a few months from having 0 subscribers all the way to 1,000, it really talks to this Jets community. It really talks to this fan base. And I cannot say thank you enough to everybody who has come in, stopped by, and supported the channel. I cannot super chat John Hepburn, not yet. Unfortunately, I do not have the watch hours to monetize my videos and things like that. I need about 2,000 more watch hours. That's why we're going to try to do a little bit more live shows and things like that to try and get the watch time up more and more. But I do have 1,000 subscribers now, and we're at a little bit over 2,100 watch hours. But guys, before getting too emotional or whatever about it, I did just want to say thank you so much for everything, for all of the subs, the likes. Thank you for it all. I can't believe that it happened. I can't believe that this is what's going on. But let me go wrap up the show. Let me go do all of that stuff, guys, because the baby is woken up. He's hungry and he is hangry. And we got to start doing nighttime routine with him. But let me finish answering these questions. Guys, keep an eye out. I will be giving away. Let me stop sharing my screen. Let me take John's thing away. I will be giving this Elijah Moore rookie card away to one of the subscribers of the channel. So keep an eye out on Twitter for that. That's where I will be announcing the winner. The link to my Twitter is in the description, so keep an eye out for that. That's where I'll be announcing the winner. Thank you guys for subscribing. I cannot believe that we hit 1,000 subscribers. I love it so much. But let's go answer all of these questions real quick and then cut off the show. I heard Zach was looking better than Daniel Jones in the scrimmage. Well, yeah, Daniel Jones is also playing on a far worse team, right? Like they don't have all of the weapons and all of the things that they have. Thanks for stopping by, John. Thanks for all the congratulations, everybody who stopped by and said all the nice things. And Zach, I agree. I think this pass rush is super special. Again, with the naked lady chats, man. I do think this pass rush is special, not necessarily from one specific player, but I do think that we're going to get a lot of production from a lot of different players. Thank you, Lauren Shorty. I appreciate that. And thank you, Thomas Cahill. Thank you, everybody who stopped by for everything. Guys, my good friend, Jets Chaos with Jeremy, has just gone live with his brother. I'm going to link that in the chat. Go watch it. Go tell him that you came from my stream and that we just hit 1,000 subscribers, guys. Thank you so much for stopping by. Quick, nice 40-minute stream. Thank all 8 of you for being in here and chatting. But I'm going to go feed my baby. And again, thank you guys so much for 1,000 subs.